So last year, manufacturer Mobvoi launched the incredibly budget-friendly Ticwatch GTH, an affordable smartwatch that packed in tons of fitness features despite rocking an asking price that really put the likes of the Apple Watch to shame. And right here, resting on my knackered old arthritic wrist, is the sequel to that budget stunner, the Ticwatch GTH Pro. This Pro model sports all the usual fitness features and exercise tracking shenanigans, but the Pro can also monitor your heart health using a variety of factors, including the stiffness of your arteries. FNAR. But the best bit is definitely that asking price. Just $99 US this thing is, leaving you plenty of extra cash to splash on hookers and crack. Did I say hookers and crack? I obviously meant presents for family members and loved ones, and several sizable charity donations, and crack. But anyway, I've been testing out the Ticwatch GTH Pro, using it as my full-time smartwatch, and here's my in-depth review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, of course, the Ticwatch GTH Pro sports a very similar square design to the original Ticwatch GTH. Like a lot of budget-friendly smartwatches, it comes in just the one color and design, unfortunately. So basically this raven black model. You won't be able to find any colorful variants or anything like that. You've got a 1.55-inch screen, and it is curved and it does blend in rather nicely with the metal frame. My only complaint is, again, pretty standard for a budget smartwatch, and that's the fact you've got pretty sizable bezels surrounding that display, as you can see there. And it's certainly more noticeable when you've got a watch face with a sort of lighter background like so, but when you've got one with a darker background, it definitely blends in a lot more effectively. The Ticwatch GTH Pro comes with a single 20mm silicone band, and it is pretty comfortable to wear all day long. In fact, I wore it all day, all night, and didn't get any kind of skin irritation or anything like that. Even when I was doing a lot of exercise, it does sometimes happen. People, come on, don't judge me. And the Ticwatch GTH Pro is water resistant to 5 atmospheres. You don't even have to take it off when you hit the showers, and it does have swim tracking support built in there as well. Now, pairing up your Ticwatch GTH Pro with your smartphone, nice and easy, just using the Mobvoi app, which you can download straight from the Google Play Store. It's a Bluetooth 5.0 connection, low energy, and when I first started testing out the Ticwatch GTH Pro, I did notice that the watch and the phone did disconnect occasionally, maybe once or twice a day, despite the fact that I'd given the app auto start privileges and made sure it was locked in. Well, thankfully that's a problem that seemed to resolve itself, and I haven't had that disconnect happen for a few days now, touch wood, fingers crossed. As far as smartwatch apps go, the Mobvoi one isn't the most comprehensive, but it certainly does all of the main stuff you'd expect. So for instance, you can quickly check your battery status. You can toggle lots of features such as the 24/7 heart rate detection and that SPO2 feature. And as you can see there, the skin temperature and the respiration rate features from the original Ticwatch GTH have carried across to the Pro model. You set up notifications for incoming calls and various other app notifications as well. All kinds of different toggles and other bits that you can play around with. And in here is also where you change up the watch face. And yes, the selection may not be quite as grand, shall we say, as some rivals such as Xiaomi offer, good old Wear OS of course, but you do have a decent variety of analog and digital related efforts, quite a few with a lot of information on them, and quite a lot of stylistic faces, including some good old geeky video game style ones. I like some of the quite literal titles for them as well, like cat, yeah, undisputed, and dog. One of my favorites, definitely super mushroom. Yes, please. If you happen to think that all those Ticwatch faces are a bit cack, well, no worries. You can custom design your own using any photo you've got on your phone. Crop in and everything. Choose which color you want for the actual time and the step count. Unfortunately, you can't customize what widgets appear on that front bits. You can't put the date in there if you'd rather have that than the step count, for instance. The only problem being, it does take an absolute freaking age for the actual watch face to copy across onto your watch. I'm not even joking. You could probably go away and complete the whole of Elden Ring in the time it takes for these things to sync up. Come on, 3%. Come on, you can do it. Ugh. So let's focus once more on that 1.55-inch color screen, and unfortunately it is a basic TFT effort. As you would expect at this sort of budget price, it is quite rare to find an OLED screen. So unfortunately that does also mean there's no always on display option here. You will just have to raise your wrist to wake the display, otherwise tap the old button on the sides here. And it's still a fairly respectable panel. Obviously don't get those gorgeous deep blacks that you do from an OLED screen, but the viewing angles are pretty wide. And yeah, colors aren't exactly poppy and vivid and in your face or anything, but they're not, particularly dull or lifeless. However, there's no auto brightness feature here on the Ticwatch GTH Pro. You do have to manually tweak the brightness yourself if you're struggling to see that screen. On the top brightness, it's pretty good. I find that even on a sunny day, I can see what's going on. But then you have to remember to jack the brightness down again once you've finished your outdoor excursion, just to preserve the battery life. And as with all non-Wear OS TicWatches, pretty basic, straightforward interface, fast access to all your fitness information and sleep tracking. You can also start a bit of exercise tracking, keep on flicking, and you've got more fitness information, respiration rate, skin temperature, and your oxygen level in your blood, and then heart rate tracking as well. Finally, weather, and then you're back to the main watch face. It's all the main sort of widgets you would hope to find, although there doesn't appear to be any way of reordering them or taking out any that you don't actually want. And then if you actually flick your finger up the display, that's how you access all of your notifications. And it is very basic notification support, to say the least. Definitely don't expect Wear OS style functionality. It's literally just, oh, heads up, you've got an email, you've got a WhatsApp, whatever. Now, the Ticwatch GTH Pro is the first smartwatch to come rocking the Arty Heart Health Analytics platform. That already sounds like some proper professor bollocks, and we've only just begun, so pour yourself a pint of scotch and strap yourself in. The big innovation here is the Sphygmore Core technology. Why did I decide to shoot this video with an absolutely stinking hangover? Serious bad idea. But basically what you need to do is just jump into the apps menu and then tap on the little Arty app there, and then gently place a finger on this little sensor on the edge of the Ticwatch GTH Pro. The Sphygmore Core can analyze central arterial pressure waveforms to provide advanced medical and consumer health measurements, such as central blood pressure and arterial stiffness, something that traditional blood pressure monitors can't manage, the big thickies. And also, check out this adorable wee bugger with his monocle. I mean, frankly, I trust everything he's about to say purely based on his choice of eyewear. Now, once Arty has taken your measurements, you're presented with an overall score, so obviously the higher the better. And then the individual results, which consists of your heart rate measurement. You've got your ECAP score, that stands for exercise capacity, your general fitness indicator based on the blood flow to your heart. And you've also got HSX, which is the heart stress index. So basically whether your arteries are a bit too stiff. In this case, lower is definitely better. And then finally you're presented with your Arty age, so sort of general fitness levels and a prediction of like how bloody geriatric you already are. Of course the question is Arty actually reliable? Does it actually work? Well, of course I've got no way of actually measuring my arterial stiffness short of going to an actual doctor and paying him to check me out. And I've already spent all my money on booze and pork scratching, so that ain't gonna happen. Plus I'm slightly terrified of what it would actually say. But the results do seem to vary on factors like how chilled out you're feeling, how warm your fingers actually are, which fingers you use. Occasionally, Arty reckoned I was a pensioner age. So yeah, f you, you monocled prick. But once you learn the little tips and tricks for using Arty, generally you can get a more consistent readout as well. And it can provide you little bits of advice, little tidbits, such as, you know, do more exercise and don't eat shit. As well as Arty, you've got the usual fitness shenanigans here on the GTH Pro, including a bit of heart rate tracking, of course, throughout the course of the day. You've got 24/7 SPO tracking and skin temperature tracking as well. And sleep tracking as well, which is reasonably accurate, although occasionally it reckons that I'm still in a deep sleep when I'm actually propped up in bed doing a bit of scripting on my laptop. We've got a few other basic features here on the Ticwatch GTH Pro as well, including a good old timer and stopwatch, of course, old reliables. And you do have music control as well if you are streaming music on your smartphone. And this does work, but it is once again very basic indeed. You can basically pause or play your music and then skip forward and back. There's no volume controls, there's no actual information on what is playing, etc. And then as far as the fitness tracking goes, you've got just over a dozen different activities that the Ticwatch GTH Pro can track. There's no auto tracking or anything, so you'll have to manually start it. You know, reasonable coverage. You've got quite a lot of the most popular stuff on there, like a bit of footy, running, walking, swimming, of course, as well as it's water resistant, and cycling too. And once you've recorded a workout, that all gets synced with the Mobvoi app, so you can check out, you know, your average heart rate and everything if you like. Pretty basic stuff, but it's there if you want it. As for battery life here on the Ticwatch GTH Pro, well, Mobvoi reckons you'll get between 7 to 10 days of standard use per charge. And that's actually pretty damn accurate. I actually got closer to that 10-day limit. And that's with pretty much constant wear as well. Heart rate monitoring, SPO2 monitoring, all that stuff turned on, the notifications tracking as well. Good bit of exercise, fitness stuff, and use an Arty at least 2 or 3 times a day. And then when it's time to charge the smartwatch back up again, you do have your proprietary Ticwatch GTH Pro dock. Slightly fiddly to use, but it is magnetic. At least I did accidentally knock it off a couple of times when I was trying to just get it to sit perfectly right with the pins, but at least it's quite compact, so easy to transport. So right, there's my full, frank, final review of the Ticwatch GTH Pro. As I say, a solid budget smartwatch, a few little issues here and there, such as the notification support isn't particularly strong. That Arty feature does take a while to get used to, but once you kind of learn the tricks of the trade and all that, the readings do tend to be a bit more consistent. But of course, whether you opt for this watch will depend on how much you're sold on those heart-related features. Otherwise, of course, you've got strong alternatives from the likes of Amazfit as well, which also offer a lot of the basic fitness features and everything, again, for a low price. So anyway, it'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do poke, subscribe, and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a bloody wonderful rest of the week. Cheers, everyone. Love you.